everyone, this is Luminous and 715 coming you guys with their new project. This new project is going to be top 5 of anything, ranging from 0.4 AB to now being 6.73, Dota 2, whatever. So 5 of the most anything. And today's topic is going to be the top 5 biggest metagame change. The 5 things that IceFrog did from 0.4 AB to now that just completely changed Dota from what we know before and to what we know today. So it's it might be a little bit of dry topic, but we want to blow it off with this one. So metagame shift number 5. At number 5, we have big TP scroll changes. IceFrog, or not IceFrog. Are you IceFrog? 715.
No,
715, tell us
maybe.
exactly what TP scroll did way back then, and what was the change, and why was that important?
Okay, TP scroll back then. Like 5 heroes coming, wanna push your tower, you will just TP, and after 3 seconds, another guy will just TP, and the tower gets like you can't damage it. Every time there's a TP on the tower, just standard as in back then in Warcraft 3, no damage on buildings when you TP on them. So, well, you can just chain your TPs, you can TP with a crow, you can do everything, and the tower just won't go down. So, people that didn't push because it's too hard. It's just
You
too
can't
hard.
push. You can't push, yeah. You have 5 people barreling down your tower. Oh man, we'll TP once with one, our Crystal Maiden. Cancel the TP before she ports in. TP with another hero. Cancel it before he ports in. At the meantime, you're blowing away that creep with your Nova. You're blowing away a creep with your Dragon Slave. And the push never went anywhere. You got 5-man push. You could be up in numbers. It didn't matter. Because TP protection on tower, it was just insane.
Yep.
So,
Omni Knight favorite hero back then. Just repel,
Yep.
TP in, deny tower,
Can't do
slash
anything.
low.
Can't do anything. So IceFrog axed that. They changed the TP now, of course. They removed the armor bonus that tower got when you TP'd in. In fact, they introduced Glyph. And Glyph is nowhere as much imbalanced compared to... I mean, Glyph it's a long cooldown. So you could, hey, TP in and they don't get armor bonus. So it made pushing a lot easier. It made pushing actually possible. Because pushing before then, it was not possible unless you kill like 3 or 4 of their guys.
Yep. Yeah, some different reasons because why pushing was not possible. I mean, well, we just said it takes just too much time, and actually you can't destroy the tower because they can TP as often as they want. And the second thing is, if the tower gets denied and you maybe sacrifice 3 heroes for the tower, you'll get 0 gold. Because these days you get 100 gold, so that's at least 500. That's not 1,000, but it's still pretty good for your whole team. And also, well, you said you can just use nukes to kill the creeps, maybe just a fissure or clockwork it, we all know that. Push is done. Or you have a pipe or a mech on your team, and there wasn't a pipe back then. I think it was introduced in 6.60, and that was a huge deal.
Yeah, that pipe stacks. Yes, it stacks. So you can have 3 people pop your pipe, and your whole team plus your creep has what, I don't know, 1,200 magical immunity damage. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I can't. That shit was broken. So I mean, it made pushing, it made everything slow. It made everything hard. And that again, with the TP protection on the tower, you're never getting anything pushed off. So it was just really absurd. They axed that. Thank God. Now pushing is possible. Now we see what 3-man push down on top tower, easy.
Yeah.
No problem.
Also
Back then
because you
can't
have
even do that.
Urn and the Canes, but
Yep.
yeah,
Pretty cool.
0.4.
Yep. All right, number 4, Smoke of Deceit introduction. That is 6.70, I think. And that shook up the game. You guys know what Smoke of Deceit does, so we don't need to talk about that. But why was it such a big deal, 715?
Well, smoke for Shadow Fiend as bad as smoking for your health, I would say. Like that's not okay because Shadow Fiend getting completely messed up by that item, and
You guys
every
know why
other
Yaphet
solo mid
retired?
hero as well. You wanna explain
You
why?
guys know, you guys know why Yaphet retired? Because Smoke of Deceit. That probably had a big deal. No, actually, like it was so difficult to get a gank off before because pro teams always have A, really good map awareness, B, they have the river warded, and C, there's just so many spells that scout. Whether it's gonna be a Clockwork Rocket, whether it's gonna be a Beastmaster Hawk, you could be like, spend at least a minute walking past a river. You're gonna get scouted by something, and then you turn back, and suddenly you just lost EXP for doing nothing. And it just discouraged ganking because ganks never went off against the really good teams. Smoke of Deceit changed all of that. If you get an early game smoke, if you do it properly, if you pop the smoke at the right places, easy kills. We see many Smoke first bloods, Smoke early game ganks. Smoke gave introduction to double jungle. Remember that? Enchantress Ogre with the creep all smoked up. That's a 2 hero plus a creep ganking you at level 1. It's just insane. It's just insane ganks that Smoke allow you to set up. And there's just so many amplification. It made the game more exciting. It made ganking more possible. And overall, I think it made the game more random too. I'm not too sure if people like that actually.
Oh, actually, I wouldn't say it. Well, it maybe made the game more random, but I would say it didn't make ganks that random, because actually ganks are now a reliable tool. Like you can plan that. You can say, okay, on minute 5 we start ganking that Spectre, and you can be sure that it'll work out if you do it well, because you know they won't scout you, or it's very, very unlikely. And we even see Chinese teams ganking, so that's always an indication that it's a very safe strategy, because the Chinese, they're always going for the safe thingies.
When you see the Chinese who used to farm for 80 minutes to actually, let's go gank, maybe there's something big happening. And Smoke got to see it number 4, huge game changing, that it really happened. All right, number 3, and this is actually my favorite on the list, is the nerf to buyback. Before, there was no buyback cooldown. Yes, you die, you buy back. If you have more gold, you die again, you buy back. And there were some historical games, which I'm going to include a link here, where a certain Storm Spirit bought back about 3 times in a row, twice in a single fight. It was just absolutely insane. And why did this destroy the game, 715?
Well, this is kind of like before, when you were playing, you were farming. You were farming for buybacks, and then you have the choice. You either buy a new item in minute 70, or you buy you save for a buyback. So every team will just, you know what, they'll go farm, and they don't have to care while they farm, because maybe they know, okay, there's the risk I'll get ganked while I farm, but if I farm fast enough, then it doesn't matter, because I'll just buy out and continue farming again. So you would need to gank all over and all over, but if you gank, then you know, hey, he'll just buy out anyway. So teams stop ganking, teams just farm, and teams just farm again.
And it got to the point where like every single epic Chinese game got over 60 minutes, got over 70 minutes. Sometimes games were 80, 90 minutes. It was just absolutely insane. Even Crystal Maidens, they were saving for a buyback. You team wipe us in our base, no problem. All 5 buyback, and we just go back and keep fighting. If we die again, no problem. Our carry has buyback again. It just dragged out the game longer and longer. Like Set15 says, hey, why actually gank them instead when you could farm an extra buyback for yourself? So both teams were very passive, and the game dragged out more and more and more as people were obsessed about buying buybacks. Why just get a Crystallis when you could just buy back? Because that's probably more important. So now, I mean, buyback is still in the game. You could still buy back in a fight, but it made it more strategic. Now that if you're farming outside, you get ganked off. Yeah, you could buy back, but that means you can't buy back in the fight itself, and that's a big deal. So it made the whole game more strategic. It made it a lot less farming, and that was really important, right?
Yep. So, okay, buyback on place number 3.
Number 3, that was huge. Number 2 is yet another TP scroll change. I'll let you handle this one.
Okay, that's like, there are people you're scared of, and that's usually because they have an overwhelming power, because there are multiple people, and that's like the same problem in Dota. Like, I don't know, if you see many evil Chinese guys walking into you at the street, then you're probably like, "Wah, I gotta run away." So many people is a big problem. That's what I'm saying. And this is when you have one carry farming at the lane, and then you want to gank him, but then just like 4 evil Chinese people TP in. Okay, not 4, but it's maybe the 2 supports that are waiting on the bot lane just for you to gank the carry and then just TP in. And in 6.64, we had many games like that. If you watch these games today, you will be like, there's a Medusa free farming on top lane, and they're...
Why don't they gank him?
Yeah, why don't they gank the Medusa? You'll be like, they are bad. There was 2 years they couldn't play Dota back then. They could, but they just knew they can't gank the Medusa, because Tide and Maiden will just TP in and kill you. And it'll work out, because they'll TP at the same time, and after 3 seconds there will be 2 more heroes, and if you gank with 3, then the mid hero will TP, because back then you had a hero that had high impact in the mid game. It will be a Shadow Fiend maybe, or it will be
Lion or Storm,
Yeah,
something like that.
it will be just
And the biggest change right there before was if let's say Crystal Maiden and Tai TPs in the same time, both those heroes will arrive at the same time, and of course you could position your TPs as well, so you could get further or behind, and that's not too big of a deal. But the important deal is they TP and they arrive at the same time. Now you try that shenanigan. Of course, Crystal Maiden will go in first because she TP'd first. Tai Hunter will come in 3 seconds after, and now Crystal Maiden will just die. Tai Hunter will die afterwards. But before, no, all of them literally TP in the same time. You're ganking one lone Chinese dude, and again, like 715 said, 4 evil Chinese guys just suddenly show up. And that just says, oh, okay, well, there's a deuce of farming, but we can't do anything about it because those TP scrolls are just too damn crazy. And again, it's another tool that just dragged the games out longer, and longer, because ganks were not possible, killing carriers were not possible. All people just pushed the game to the late game. And it was just really frustrating in watch. It was really frustrating in cast. It was just not fun.
Not fun. But now you'll be like, oh, but Dota, so many changes to make the game more interesting. And
yeah.
It was so boring before, but now we get to the reason why it was so boring before.
Yeah, here comes the number 1 biggest metagame shift ever. Like Dota before, Dota 0.4 AB more specifically, and Dota today is not even the same game at all. And it was the Blink Dagger back then that did the change. Blink Dagger, by the way, now, okay, you hit him, you have 3 seconds of your dagger being disabled. That's generally enough time to, set off another stun, set off another slow, and just kill. Back then, you hit him, and as soon as he's unstunned, he blinks out. There was no, what's it called, disable dagger? There's no such thing. They just blink out.
And well,
and that actually might not sound like a big deal, but why is that a big deal?
Well, that's a big deal because like so many heroes useless. Imagine Venomancer. Venomancer comes for you, and he maybe even had an Invis rune, and he'll drop his ult, and he'll hit you, and he'll give you the Venomous Gale, and you will be like, you know what? I just dagger out and maybe TP or even run back to base. Doesn't matter because he can't do shit about it. Like,
nope.
Can't stop you. So only heroes with stuns are good. Okay, and now you can start counting. Go to play Dota, open the hero screen, start counting the heroes that were there in 4-8B and that have a stun. And then you know which 10 heroes were played.
Yep, it was literally 10, 15, 20 heroes that were being played. The same dual lanes are playing again and again. It was like Sven Lina or Sand King Lesh. It was just the same variation. Your mid, you had like what you call it, either a Warlock mid. Sometimes you have a Silencer mid to you prevent them from stunning you. Sometimes you have a Magnetar mid to stun more people. It was just stunning or not getting stunned or blinking out when you're not stunned. That's it. And you know what? That sounds great. You know what? All 10 players stunning, jumping around, that sounds crazy. But after you watch a month of that, you're going to get tired of it. I could bet you anything. It just got so repetitive. It really got so repetitive. And again, like 715 said, half the hero pool is not there because you can't play it. Why the hell do you want Enchantress that has a slow when you could pick a stun and when you need to pick up a stun? Because back then, chain stunning is where it really happened. Unless you chain stun a hero properly, you're not getting a kill. Blink Dagger was just that OP. So change 2 to 5 really sped up the game. But change number 1 was nerfing that Blink Dagger really slowed it down. It brought in a lot of heroes that weren't possible before to make it now possible again. Because slows are actually part of the game. Other mechanics are part of the game, not just stuns. And that was the biggest change in Dota history ever. I don't think any other change really tops that.
Yeah, I actually agree.
Yep. So 715 actually agrees for once, right?
Yeah, once, but only once, and because I'm tired. Okay, gotta make up some excuse.
Alright, so okay, this is this top 5 series that we're trying to do. If you don't agree, this is the 5 metagame shifts. We'll like to definitely see what you guys thought was some other big metagame shifts that we did not mention. Of course, we plan to do this. I don't know we don't really have a set schedule. We just kind of pump out one of these once in a while. Some of the other things that we have in mind is like top 5 supports, top 5 worst items of all time, top 5 most fun hero to play, random things like that. We'll try to take you guys back to older version of Dota, because there's some imbalanced items, there's some imbalanced heroes back then that we don't see anymore, we don't remember anymore. And this series kind of go back in time and talk about that as well. Do suggest what top 5s you guys want to see, and etc. and etc. So that's it from us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, 715 Luminous signing out. See you guys.
Watch out for Chinese guys.